So everyone left, but then I got caught in a snow blizzard at like 7,950 meters. It was pretty much 10 steps, stop. 10 steps, stop. 10 steps, stop. This is Reliving Climbing Everest, day 41. Let's get straight into it. Day 41 of Climbing Everest. It's getting closer to 3 o'clock. Wake up at 3 a.m. Just about to leave from Camp 3 to start climbing. 7,100 to Camp 4 at just below 8,000. So 900 meters of climbing we have today. Had about 6 hours of rest. Bit broken, had to pee in the middle, but my pee is more. My pee was more white than orange, like it was. Perfect. That's how I judge my hydration. And yeah, so we're in Camp 3 and we're gonna get moving. It's a bit chilly, let me tell you that. Anyway, see that. When I said lots of face was steep, this is obviously still continue on lots of face. This was 10 steps, stop. You can see Antonia down there. I'm worried about losing my phone a lot more, because if it goes down, sun's about to come out as well. So it's a blessing in disguise, because my toes are a bit cold, but at least it'll unfreeze them a little bit. And so, 2 things there, yeah. There's no talk of safety. Hey, there's no like, oh yeah, I'm worried I might drop. I'm scared of heights. You know, I might slip up or something. I'm worried about losing my phone because I'm worried I'm gonna lose all the content. That's what I'm worried about. You know, because I've now got a backlog of 2-3 days of climbing, and this worry goes all the way to the summit. Hey, you know, you get to a point where you undo the zips, undo a couple of vents on your suit, and you have that perfect temperature. And then, you know, my toes were a little bit frozen, my fingertips were, and my mouth was obviously a little bit freezing over. The more of that sun that comes out, the warmer it gets, the more you have to start, you know, taking a layer off. But you take a layer off, you know, you're now either were you wet underneath. You're finding that perfect balance of not sweating, because then you're losing the hydration, and not getting blown by, obviously, if you're wet, you're going to get blown by wind, you could get ill, right? That's also a possibility. Obviously, you're trying to do this within a very short amount of time, so hopefully before you do get very ill, it's, you know, you're already down in Camp 2 or even base camp. Then it gets fucking hot, so wearing the down suit is never a good idea. So you have to take wearing the down suit in the sun is never a good idea. Hey. Fuck you. Antonio! Fuck you! That was our like little, are you okay? Hey Antonio, fuck you. He's like, hey Mikey, fuck you. He's alright. We're both okay. You know, we still have the humor in us, so we're doing well. There you see me chewing. Obviously had pockets full of food, you know. That was the thing, constantly just a little bit of sugar, maybe a little bit of like a little cereal bar that I already had broken up inside the pocket. You know, that snack pocket that you saw in like day 20-ish. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Everything's important, yeah. Recording is hard. It was pretty much 10 steps, stop. 10 steps, stop. 10 steps, stop. And my technique for breathing for climbing was, it was the reverse. It was in through the mouth and out through the nose. Because, so what would happen is I would have the bandana on my face and I would breathe in through my mouth and then out through the nose, allowed that moisture to then go up through, you know, I don't know what that part's called, but then and then out the nose, so it kept it moisturized. If I did it the other way around, it would dry up the nose, dry up the back of the mouth or whatever that's called, down into the throat, so it would dry up everything. And then my technique was to do the reverse exactly for that, for the reason of keeping everything moisturized. Let me tell you, best decision I've ever made. I even now, when I was competing recently, did the same technique. I was like, getting that volume. I know it's scientifically not correct, but it works for me, alright?
Nose is a bit cold, but the sun's out there, yeah. It'll warm up. But it won't be good because it'll make us all hot as well.
Sun's coming out, everything's melting, but we're getting hot.
My lips are frozen. I can barely talk.
Yeah, bottom lip was numb as.
Yeah. I keep going. A couple more hours. Should be in camp 4.
Yeah, I was excited.
Good of us.
Cool of us strong is my little saying I've got. So that was part 1. Let's go straight into part 2. Just continues on that video. It was a bit too long to post in one go, so. Sun came out. Oh shit.
My lips are back to where they should be. Chilling on this pretty vertical edge. Just admire.
Steep, hey? That's steep. You see the people below that's the yellow band, so it's a part of rock that you have to traverse or scale. So the yellow band is a part of rock coming to the top of the Lhotse face, and you can't really dig your crampons in there because it's obviously rock, which makes it much harder to traverse. It's also a little bit of a bottleneck because a lot of the climbers will, start to slow down there, and that causes a little bit of a line behind you. But because we left so early and we left in time where not a lot of people were attempting summit anyway, we were kind of, I don't want to say fortunate enough, but we didn't have that many lines.
Again.
My back was hurting. I was hungry, dehydrated, and I just told everyone to just keep going ahead. And then I will, because I kind of feel like I wasn't being pushed as much. I could take it at my own pace. So everyone left, but then I got caught in a snow blizzard at like 7,950 meters. So I just went by myself. And that's what I say there as well. It's not like I could jump on oxygen, because it's all like Camp 4.
About 7,900 meters elevation. Made the Camp 4 on no oxy at 7,900 meters.
Yeah, I was very weak,
Summit is more important,
and
so
the way I walked into Camp 4, Antonio looked at me and he's like, "You need to get on fucking oxygen right now." He pretty much shouted at me, and I was like to him, as I said to myself, summiting is more important to me than summiting without oxygen. That was just an additional thing I wanted to do,
Opening the bottle. But hey, did pretty well, to be honest. And it's regenerate, and still it would also be too windy to.
But the wind was crazy. That snow blizzard came, the wind was crazy. You can see how quickly the weather changes. We went from a beautiful sunny day to being in the middle of a blizzard, winds picking up, you know, not being unable to put out your tent. So, you know, we got to Camp 4. We went into a tent that was already up, a random tent with 2 random people in there as well. And just everyone knew what we were doing. We were just chilling and trying to get away, you know. Then, nobody cares. Everyone just wants the best for everyone. No one wants people to die and stuff. So, yeah.
Are you going to summit in today or we're going to push? Because if you have oxy, it's much better. It's okay if it's windy, but no oxy.
Me and Antonio
Wind is
on Oxy now. Tent is now set up. 2-man tent is gonna fit 4-man tonight. Let me tell you that. Tell you that for free. Antonio had his cheese, his sausages, the pancetta. I don't want to say his sausage, but the pancetta. Whew. The wind continued. So, as some people may know, how you summit Everest is you go base camp for the final rotation. You go base camp, camp 2, camp 3, camp 4, rest in camp 4. You don't sleep there. You rest for about 5 hours. You summit, and then you go back straight to camp 2. So that final push from camp 3, you go camp 4, rest, summit, back to camp 2. You don't sleep in camp 4. Right, you don't stay there for longer than you need to. Even though it was a blizzard, Antonio pushed for summit, attempted summit with his Sherpa. I was then still too weak, even though like my attitude seems very nice and could. I was feeling very weak because the lack of oxygen, malnourishment there, dehydration. You know, I was in physical exertion as well. You know, I was pushing my body to the limits. And Antonio went up. Everyone went to the balcony, which, if I remember correctly, is around 8,500 or 8,600 meters, and turned around. So I was sleeping through that time, but Antonio left, went with a Sherpa, came back to the tent, and then in the morning is when we discussed what happened, and he told me that he went up, tried it, and everyone started turning around, so he turned around as well. But yeah, from there we see what happens next in day 42. So that was Reliving Climbing Everest day 41, and we'll see you in day 42.